So this question says list L consists of the numbers 1, so I'm just going to rewrite these down. 1 root 2 x, x squared, where x is greater than 0. Another little change I'm going to make here is it's hard for me to know, like, how do these two numbers compare to each other? So I'm going to go to my calculator and type in square root of 2. What I find is that this is basically I'll just call it 1.4, right? So it's not exactly 1.4, but I'll call that 1.4. So then we have our x and x squared. So now I can really see at least the relationship between those first two numbers there. Then the second part of this question says, and the range of the numbers in list L is 4. Well, what does range mean? Range means the difference between the largest number and the smallest number, right? So large minus small. Largest number minus the smallest number. It has to be 4. So what are we trying to find? So quantity A is just x. Quantity B is the number 2. Now here's the deal. We were given this information about the range. Hopefully you remember what range really means, but there's not much we can do with that information because we don't know what x is, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a strategy called plug in your own number, right? Anytime you wish you knew what something was, in order to simplify or to get a better understanding, just go ahead and plug your own number in. But you have to be careful, right? So we know that if I'm making up my own number, I have to recognize that the answers that I get are based upon that number that I choose. So I have to be careful and not just assume that that number that I chose is the best number. So I'm going to choose x equals 2, right? Because again, on this test, all we care about is quantity A larger, is it smaller, or is it equal, or is it, are we here where we don't know how to be able to tell between the two quantities? So if I set quantity A, x, to equal 2, that means this list here becomes 1, comma 1.4, comma 2, comma 4, right? Because 2 squared is 4. But then my range, right, my largest number minus my smaller number, that would be 3. So that's too small, which tells me that x equaling 2 is too small, which tells me that x has to be greater than 2, which tells me that quantity A is greater than quantity B, and therefore this is my answer, right? So just by not being afraid of trying something, right, and 2 is a good number to try here, it's the best number to try here, by trying x equals 2 and then going through the process as if x equal 2, it helps me to be very clear on the fact that x has to be greater than 2 in order for the range to be 4.